An important lesson to all men. If your girlfriend's phone rings while she's in the shower, do not use her eyeliner pencil to take a message. She may not have said anything, but I know that look. Hello and welcome back to the only show to remind you that scientists have found that 1 out of every 5 phones has human shit on it. You people nasty. Here on the Peter Pod Network! Season 2!
Because your theory is we're going to go down there and have a donkey barbecue and I'm going to furnish the ass, right? You are not. You don't know where that's been.
Hello and welcome back to episode 24 of the second season of the Peter Pod Network. This week we're at the Mohegan Sun Casinos in Connecticut for our first ever out-of-state show, so bear with us while we try our best not to get too loaded and wander off to the blackjack tables. And as always, you know how it goes. I am Peter Pod, he's Will in the back, and this week's mascot, God, aka the guy who put the place you want to get licked right next to the place most of you don't wipe correctly. That's right, the Peter Pod Network is back again this week, and we got a lot to go over. 12-year-old girl in southern New Hampshire decided fuck the police and took local authorities on quite the car chase in a stolen vehicle earlier this week. The Ron DeSantis presidential campaign tour took a hilarious turn right into each other, and we're guessing that their motorcade drivers are also weekend demolition derby enthusiasts. Kevin Spacey got out of another one. Like that. Mother Nature's taking a couple pot shots at New Hampshire as that old bitch continues in her assault on the Granite State this summer. A New Hampshire woman and child were kidnapped in Haiti, reports confirm. Which is one way for a guy to get a little peace and quiet at home, we suppose. Robert Kennedy dinner showed everyone how to weaponize a fart. And Carly Russell is fucked. There's just no better way to put that. And this week's email comes from Derek in Manchester, who isn't a fan that we made fun of his letter about his shit-stained ex-girlfriend last episode. Well, Derek, we're not even going to read your new, more mindless email. Mostly because you're an idiot, and let this being a learning experience, so get a helmet, or if you got some old hockey pads, because this next bit may sting. While we appreciate that you listen to the show, please know that when you include a picture with that email, that really should have been written in crayon, you were just begging for 2 guys who have a half hour or so to fill every week to take this free content you handed us and run like madmen through the streets with it. Just ask the butt slut. We won't post your pic. We didn't with the Insta horse. We won't with you. But shit, son. You got a face only a mother who's gone blind could love. And we get from the white wife beater and 6 inches of the top of your underwear showing that you enjoy a hood like Machine Gun Kelly style. But goddamn, do not try to say the stupid shit you said to us while supplying us with visual proof that you're too fucking retarded to know how to properly operate pants. The fact that we had to play detective just to figure out what your rambling whiny ass email said because you left words out of every other sentence leads us to believe one of 2 things. That either your 3rd grade education has failed you yet again, like that time you thought you lived at the corner of Walk and Don't Walk, or the reason why your ex-girlfriend left you for a woman is because your tiny dick kept getting in the way of your vagina. Though both may be happening at once, like some sort of special needs cry for help. And if you want your email read on the show, or just a healthy dose of being reminded what a moron you are, just like Derek did, write into the PeterPodNetwork at gmail.com and let us know what you liked and what you didn't. Be prepared for a response, though, because we truly are giant assholes who really don't care. That's the PeterPodNetwork at gmail.com. Remember the DHE. You ain't speaking to me. And speaking of the email, we're thinking of changing things up for a special episode or 2 devoted to other states, but we're not sure which ones. Florida's always full of random news stories that make us wonder what they do to the water down there. But Massachusetts has that combination of city crime and scary hicks from the woods that we think could make for one hell of an episode. So let us know what you think, and with any luck, we can get that shit going. Hit that subscribe, follow, and like button on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and we can always be found on all the major socials. And for those who enjoy the Peter Pod Network at work, we can also be found on Amazon Music, Samsung Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, and more. And if you're not sure if we're on your favorite platform, and you see a search bar, just type in Peter Pod Network and see what happens. And as always, make sure to check out the archives at PeterPodNetwork.com, the home of all things Peter Pod Network. There you can find all the songs, bits, and full episodes, even the hard-to-find early shitty ones that you can't find anywhere else. We have no shame, so give them a listen and let us know how much we really sucked in those early days. And also keep an eye on PeterPodNetwork.com for any upcoming updates, because we do plan to take a week off coming up and recharge the batteries with a week down at Cape Cod in August. We haven't figured out exactly when, but keep an eye on the website for more information as we have it. And if you have any suggestions on places to check out while we're there, let us know. We use your tips on places to find the most interesting shit that makes us New Hampshire's favorite shittiest little show. And with that said, let's go ahead and get this shit show started with King of the Jackholes! Well, I guess you know we're about to piss somebody off. That's right, the king of the Jackholes has returned, and we have an especially shitty winner for you all this week. We use the word shitty for a specific reason. We don't know if you heard the tale of the man who drove a truck full of human shit through Connecticut that was leaking its ripe contents. Know what else he's done in his life, but this single story was really all we needed to make 34-year-old Shaky Stevenson Joseph of Waterbury, I love that name by the way, this week's king of the Jackholes. But as we found out, in true KOTJ fashion, there was so much more. July 17th was a regular day on Interstate 95 in Connecticut. Well, until it wasn't, and when it became a wasn't situation, well, somebody might need to get to a doctor and get some shots. And before we get ahead of ourselves, as the story goes, Shaky Joseph was towing behind him an unsecured load of human shit in a Mack truck down I-95, and that Mack truck just happened to be leaking that human shit down I-95 as it went, much to the dismay of everyone who was driving behind this shit-leaking giant brick on wheels that was traveling at highway speeds. One more reason why people say nothing good ever happens in Connecticut. Some of the people poo coming out of the back of the truck ended up making a section of the road like ice apparently though, because the tractor trailer lost control of its load while doing what must have looked like the scariest fucking slip and slide ever created. Truck collided with a police cruiser and then collided with another police cruiser. Pictures provided to the media look like those cop cars got really fucked up too, and we have to imagine that more than a couple people were really pissed off, because the big shit truck that caused the crashes was still just driving down the highway, painting the road like some kind of crappy Picasso. Initially, the cops who were involved in the collisions reported in that it was an oil spill, and the looks on their faces must have been priceless when they found out what was actually going on, because nothing says loving like human shit on your shoes. Reports have also come in from the troopers who questioned Shaky, still love that name, and Shaky knew that the truck was leaking, so we know for sure that this guy is an asshole. And they charged this asshole with reckless driving, having an unsecured load, and 12 counts of first-degree reckless endangerment. And yeah, he's already out on bail. But hopefully someone took away the keys to the shitmobile, because the last thing we need is even more people picking corn out of their tires. They say the shitberg was even told to pull the truck over by his bosses over his radio. We're guessing because a mass amount of people were probably dialing the 1-800-HOUSE-MY-DRIVING number on the back and screaming the good old Shaky is really good at fucking up. But the Shakester ignored the repeated request and continued to his exit and made his way onto city streets. And I don't know if you've ever been to Bridgeport, Connecticut, but they really don't need their city streets to smell any more like human shit. Everything we can find on the high-speed shit shower says that the leak was spread out over the distance from exit 27 to exit 30, and the road had to be shut down for about 3 hours while they cleaned up the mess. So for all you foragers out there who pick their salads from alongside the road, you should probably avoid that area for a while. Sure, the flowers and plants grow great, but the fertilizer ain't what it used to be. Luckily, no one had any major injuries, even though the cop cars were totaled. So thankfully, a couple cops out there don't have to explain how their limps were caused by slipping on human poo. But one person on a motorcycle did slip out on the poo puddles and fell off their bike and had to be taken to the hospital. And we would imagine a really good fucking shower. So for this week, for earning the name Storm Shaky and letting us make God knows how many poop-related jokes, Shaky, Stephen, and Joseph, you are King of the Jackholes! Vagina, vagina. Vagina, vagina. My friends out there losing their hair because some little bunnies fucking got them paying to care, and they only need to get some for all their trouble. They gotta pay anyway, and it's costing them double. So be safe out there, hope it all goes well. 10 minutes in heaven can cost you longer in hell. If you don't know, if you have a little doubt, pull the kids in the back is what we're talking about. Vagina, vagina. They say check yourself when you wreck yourself, then you better listen to me so you don't take the L. Shit ain't cheap, but it's easy sometimes, mostly from the girls that you find online. Find yourself a honey that you want to bed down, make sure to hit the pin, can't wait for the sound. If she makes a rhyme noise, then give it a pound. If she lets out a scream, make sure you didn't hit brown. Vagina, vagina. exchange for the strange, even took it to kids. Everybody should enjoy the human flower, but be careful of the girls who sell it by the hour. We know we're wasting our breath, no matter what we say, because we're talking about you're gonna do it anyway. Vagina. Vagina. Coming to you live from the Peter Pod News Station's world-famous Stage 5. Join our host in discovering what makes you tick, New Hampshire. Is your neighbor secretly running a Taiwanese brothel out of his basement?
He is.
Are they open when I get off work tonight?
They are.
Do we know if they accept checks?
They do.
Can someone call my wife and let her know I'll be late?
On it.
This is the PPN News.
Welcome back to New Hampshire's only half-assed local news show. Mother Nature is fighting back against the Granite State, only this time instead of torrential rain, flooding, and temperatures so hot that we have to make daily checks on Grandma, because if we miss a day, the old bird may be cooked. Now the good Lord above has thrown one, possibly two tornadoes at southern New Hampshire, in the area of Roxbury and Keene, continuing his summer-long quest to play whack-a-mole with the residents of the state. No injuries were reported from the tornadoes, but down power lines, fallen trees, and even a section of Route 101 was closed down. All reporters, local residents wonder what's next from what appears to be a very pissed-off God, who thankfully has really shitty aim. Hail the size of golf balls also fell in surrounding areas, but once again, the great big guy in the sky wasn't able to take out anybody with that attempt to thin the population of New Hampshire. So now we dealt with washed out roads, massive flooding, monsoon rains, extremely high winds, fucking tornadoes, and in our next story, God apparently wasn't done playing target practice with the residents of New Hampshire as reports of the Jamestown Canyon virus are circulating. And now not only can you die from all the things we listed in our previous story tonight, but now you can get a disease from a mosquito, which have fun trying to prevent that. But you can now get a virus from that little buggy bastard that can give you cerebral encephalitis, which is your brain swelling. And yeah, that can kill you. So, good one, God. That one's at least creative. Normally found in the northern Midwest, the Jamestown Canyon virus has been in New Hampshire before. I'm sure some of you remember when the state and local authorities went around spraying everything with cancer-causing chemicals in an effort to help keep us healthy, which made no sense for the obvious reasons. And now that the virus is in the state, people are being instructed to use common bug spray that can be found at your local grocery store or pharmacy. Or you can do what my buddy Teddy does and smoke so much that by the time the mosquitoes get through the cloud, they're too stoned to remember what they were doing in the first place. And in other unrelated news, a New Hampshire-born woman and her child were kidnapped in Haiti. This according to religious humanitarian groups where the mother worked as a nurse. It's being reported by ABC and other outlets that Alex Dorsonville and her child were taken Thursday near Port-au-Prince and have since not been found. But let's be honest, this is Haiti we're talking about, and you kind of know going in that the shit can get fucky. Especially seeing as how the U.S. State Department issued an order in the area for every United States citizen to get their shit and get the fuck out of there. There's widespread kidnapping and civil unrest plaguing the area, which makes you wonder why the hell anyone would go there to begin with. You could say it's to help people, but not a lot of people get served their stew from dead people who weren't smart enough not to go to the places that will shoot them. And because we just had to include this little nugget, a 12-year-old girl is in some serious shit after she stole a white Chevy pickup truck and led police on a fun little chase through Cheshire County in southern New Hampshire this week. Local authorities said the truck would often swerve off the road or into the lanes of oncoming traffic, much like any other woman driver, coincidentally. The chase eventually came to an end with the use of stop sticks once everybody decided that the situation may be cute, but enough is enough, and after a good 30 minutes, the chase through more than a couple New Hampshire towns landed one 12-year-old girl in protective custody. And if any of you heard the rant a week or so ago, somebody needs to learn that giving your kids a whipping for doing stupid shit is very different than beating your kids. Stay tuned for these words from our sponsor because our world is next. Here at Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, we want to make sure to thank all of our wonderful customers with a new promotion that we want to try out. So starting this month until Christmas, if you open a bottle of our fine malt liquor and Clem's finger is in there, well then you let us know right away, and after a healthy course of antibiotics, we want to take you on a tour of our facilities. Starting with the gathering of ingredients in back of the market basket on Elm Street, you can root through the dumpsters with us, collecting everything that you think could possibly ferment, just like we do in the alley. And after we gather everything we need, we'll take you on a special trip to see our brewing lab at your local mobile gas station, in the bathroom with the broken lock. Unless they fix that lock, then maybe we can make it in the McDonald's bathroom. After we show you all the tips and tricks we utilize to produce for you our Drunken Advantage malt liquor, and you help us gut the cat for the next brew pot, we'll introduce you to the founder of Drunken Advantage malt liquor, good old Eustace G. McGorry. He brewed the first batch of our fine adult beverage in a rusty pot he stole from some homeless people way back in the days of hairbands and Aquanet, a time when the world most needed a drunken advantage. Now when you meet old Eustace, make sure not to stare. He may have lost a foot to the diabetes, but his bullets don't need feet, and they always win the race. So make sure to stock up on Drunken Advantage malt liquor, because now until Christmas you have a chance to be shot in the dick by a crazy drunk old fuck. Because that's how we say thank you. Drunken Advantage malt liquor, now with less hepatitis. Drunken Advantage malt liquor may say that it is now less hepatitis, but that is just for advertising. Current testing show an increase in hepatitis, and additionally, testing results show positive for super AIDS.
Listen to stories from around the world. Sit back and relax with your girl. Try not to laugh until it hurts. Welcome to another edition of Our World. Welcome back to another edition of Our World. Our little way of saying, you're a giant piece of shit. But aren't we all? First up tonight, in a story straight out of the Maury Povich show, a Columbus, Ohio zoo was pretty fucking surprised when their 8-year-old male western lowland gorilla gave birth to a healthy baby, making the gorilla Sully probably pretty pissed off. Because if you think about it, would you want the people you see every day to tell the people all around you about how your junk is so small they couldn't tell what you are? That's gotta be fucking embarrassing, even for a monkey. In any event, mother and child are doing well, as the zoo also announced that they'll need to do a DNA test on 3 male gorillas in their care to find out which one of them's the father, which basically means they're calling her a whore, too. Damn, Columbus Zoo, you're fucking mean. Damn, we don't know how he does it, but actor and director Kevin Spacey has escaped the long arm of the law again. But to be fair, we don't know if he actually did it. We just assume he's guilty, because, I mean, look at him. An English jury acquitted the actor on Wednesday after 12 hours of deliberations for 7 counts of sexual assault, 1 count of causing a person to get it on without consent, and some other stuff that involved putting things in butts. Very messy business. The charges this time that Spacey was able to avoid stem from 4 men who accused Spacey of being way too friendly over the course of a dozen years or so. And if felt guilty, that would have landed his ass in jail. While most people we asked are disappointed in the jury's verdict, they all know that they're just happy he hasn't been able to make another movie while dealing with the trials, and at least we can all be thankful for that. And in other news tonight, how the hell did we not hear the comedian and shitty actor Pete Davidson crashed a vehicle into a house, and no one told us. And to top it off, they say he wasn't even fucked up. We don't mean physically, we mean on the sauce fucked up. Like my dad, every single weekend I've been alive. It's one thing to crash your shit into a house because you drank too much and the hooker is more like a Hoover, but to do that shit completely sober is a whole new level of fuck you. So we're honestly stuck in how we feel on this one. Do you call him a shitbag because he parked his car in someone's dining room? Or do you give him a high five and offer him a beer as a reward for not driving drunk? We've seen his acting, so we're leaning towards shitbag. But if you have an opinion, let us know. Damn, what's that old saying? Bitches be trippin'? Well, if so, then in the case of Carly Russell, the Alabama nursing student who faked her own kidnapping, bitches be filthy cunts. As police and other local authorities search not only for her foolish ass, but also for the baby that didn't exist, that she created as part of her story related to her disappearance. This is why you have to be careful with these ladies, gentlemen. Just because they're pretty and have squishy parts that make us smile doesn't mean they aren't like this head case and will say wherever the hell they feel like to get what they want. Carly Russell is currently looking at misdemeanor charges connected to making a false report. And the fact that someone can pull that shit and only get hit with a misdemeanor is some new kind of fuckery. And somebody should be slapped. And in our final story tonight, anybody thinking about voting for presidential candidate Robert Kennedy has a whole new reason to want to see this guy in the White House. Namely, we were speaking about the infamous dinner he threw for the press. That turned into a scene straight out of a holiday family party at my in-laws' house. From all accounts, the whole thing popped off as some drunk fool started yelling about the climate hoax.
which pissed off a lot of people, and especially one possibly drunk out of the art critic, who replied back that he was a miserable blob and implored him to shut up. Except our drunken fool said fuck that, and continued to scream wildly, calling climate change a scam, while onlookers were calling him, and I quote, fucking insane. And in response to that, the drunk, and I have to quote this one as well, he let rip a loud, prolonged fart while yelling, I'm farting. And now I want to donate to Robert Kennedy's presidential campaign so I can get an invite to the next dinner. The next day, the drunken fool, identified as former gossip columnist Doug Deschert, told Page 6, I apologize for using my flatulence as a medium of public commentary in your presence. Which, of course, means he who names it, claims it.
I've got one of those old things that used to come in threes. Now broke two real good, and then you broke down on me. Some say that I'm spinning out of control into hell. If I find out, I'll make sure to say hi to the devil. And I said, oh, darling. I said, oh, darling. Why's everything that tastes so bad have to be so good for me? Now I found a tree that I can climb real high. Nobody can make me come down. But too often when the wind blows, I have a faster way to the ground. Suppose everybody that you've ever met was there when you got off the train. They all want their money back, but you rode the whole way for free. And I said, oh, darling. I said, oh, darling. Why's everything that tastes so bad have to be so good for me? And I said, oh, darling. I said, oh, darling. Why's everything that tastes so bad have to be so good for me?
And that is our show for this week. Thanks for tuning in and checking out the Peter Pod Network. Remember to subscribe, like, and follow wherever you find us. You can also catch us on Amazon Music, Samsung Podcast, Podcast Index, YouTube, Spotify, and more. If you see a search bar, just type in Peter Pod Network and see what happens. Send your emails to thepeterpodnetwork@gmail.com, and maybe we'll make fun of you on the show just like Justin in Manchester. And of course, find the archives at peterpodnetwork.com and see why we are New Hampshire's favorite shitty little show. So for Will in the Back, I am Peter Pod, and our mascot this week, God, the reason why you're so pissed off all the time. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Monday, only on the Peter Pod Network.
Here we are with what you want, even if you don't. I've already had too much to drink, and I might be a little stoned. They're ready to be stupefied by a story about your mom. And maybe you'll realize that we just don't give a fuck. Just trying to have some fun. Just trying to have some fun. No, we don't care, really don't give a fuck. Just trying to have some fun. Just trying to have some fun. No, we don't care, still gonna call you a cunt. Just trying to have some fun.